Hello everybody, today I will tell you about one technique. It is used for creative writing and just writing. This is called journey map or journey points map or story points map. Well, if we talk about a book, all fiction books, they're kind of narrative journeys. And when we talk about these journeys, we first need to show children how to write proper journeys. It means we use some concepts that were already created by some authors. We take books, we discuss the plots, we discuss what happened, we discuss the feelings, we discuss good words and phrases, we discuss all the techniques. But usually when you do it, children have different parts, different bits of this and that and that and that, and they do not understand the whole plot. So they can write like a description of something or a dialogue or a character description or maybe the ending or maybe the beginning, but they do not see the whole story and they do not see how story goes. They do not see its ups and downs, and they do not see where the climax is, where the beginning stops and something else starts. Well, first you need to talk before writing. It's a crucial moment because usually when you want your student or your child to write something, what do you usually do? You give a child a sheet of paper or a notebook and says, okay, write me. Well, it's a bad thing. You can also do some work before. For example, you can tell about some topic and then give your student a topic and or maybe a theme of a future story. Well, it doesn't usually help, especially if you have a budding writer who is not very confident in creating stories. Well, some students, they naturally can create stories, but most of them, they can't. So you need to help them. The pupils or students' talk is an integral part of learning. First you need to talk, first you need to discuss, and only then you need to write something, whatever it could be. After experiencing a story, well, first you read a story to a child. Read before writing anything. You need to talk. It's vital for understanding the key elements of story. What you need to do first, after reading a story, you can compare the story to something else, to some other known stories. Also, you can map stories on journey planners or on journey story maps, the one that I show you in the picture. Well, you also need to identify and discuss evidence found in stories that fits particular story models, because all the stories, all fiction stories, I mean, they fit particular models. Well, usually for primary students and lower parts of secondary students, they're narrowed to 9 techniques, 9 patterns, but they're like sub-patterns and different other branches of these 9 pattern stories. Well, first, that was second and third. You need to talk about textual features. You need to talk to your child, to your student, or maybe they can discuss it. So what you find in the text, what kind of features. Also, you need to step into place of a main character or main characters, and you need to verbalize thoughts of the main character from his perspective as he or she moves through the journey of a story. For example, if you read a story about Little Red Riding Hood, that's my favorite story that I like to work with, or Cinderella, you can go in the shoes of Cinderella or Little Red Riding Hood, and you can verbalize her thoughts like, oh, where am I? I'm very scared of this forest. What is this wolf doing here? What does he want from me? So you verbalize the thoughts. So you need to become your character to write a good story. Well, After that, after your students or your child can verbalize it, you can do it on a paper, or if your child is not very confident writer, you can do it orally. You need to go further. You need to start writing a little bit, but you need to use like sentence structures that you get from the original story, or original stories. You need to get some kind of templates from different stories to show your child how to write. Then you need to help your students or your children to construct some notes on a story map, making like visual story symbols to ensure that writing comes alive. Well, then when you have your story completely done, it's like a plan, but visualized plan. It's what you see in my picture. You have that little stars there. I'll describe it in a second. When you have it done, well, the plot of the story is set. It's like a backbone with some bones. You can extend your student's language that they can use. They're gonna use in the story. Because you want them to make a good story, not like an easy one. They went there and they talked and they said and she answered and she said again. Oh, you need to give them a little bit of vocab. You can use descriptive source here, you can use thesaurus here, you can use all kinds of visual dictionaries, or you can just grab some wonderful book that you like to read. You can get beautiful vocab there. Do not be afraid to copy and manipulate the ideas that were already used by somebody else, because when first you try to write the story just like the author did already, the one that you read now, your child can see a model how to do it beautifully and nicely. Even great writers, even great artists, they first copied, and only after that they started writing their own stories. Now, let's try to talk about that wonderful story map. It's I also sometimes call it plot points or just story map. Well, it is good. It's very useful. It can support writing in many ways. For example, it can support analyzing stories, like a deconstruction tool. It can always be really helpful to plan your own stories. It's a reconstruction tool. So you make the backbone, the plot of the story, the main ideas that you're going to put in the story. Also, it helps you to build ideas and vocab and put it not just like a huge pile of vocab that a child needs to use in a big list or whatever, but you put this vocab into chronological order to be used at some points in the future story. Also, you need to structure the writing process. For example, when you already know what the whole plot is, you can start from whatever part you would like to start. For example, if you're learning how to write openings, you may start with the opening. If you're learning how to write climax, you can start with the climax. Or if you're learning how to write character description or setting description, you can start with these, but you already know where you're going to put it exactly in your story and see which points are not covered. Well, when creating the plot points map, you need some things to put on the map. First of all, you need to have a scale like from -10 to +10, or from whatever you like. So, but it must be some minus things and plus things, minus points and plus points. It's negative incidents and positive incidents that happened in the story. For example, if we talk about Cinderella, what's a negative incident there? When the stepmother said, Cinderella, you are not going to the ball because you don't have a dress and you have lots of work to do. So this is definitely a very negative point, very negative incident. So you put your star with a number of points somewhere below 0. But if you're talking about Cinderella coming to a ball and meeting a prince, it's definitely a very positive incident, very positive point. So you put your star up, like +10 or whatever. What else you can do with it? Well, after you summarize, after you put all the points, all the plot points on your timeline, so they must be in chronological order from beginning to end. And when you discussed what point is good and what point is bad, what you need to do next, you need to make your children to gather good vocab. If you are deconstructing a story right now, you need to find this vocab in the book you're reading. If you're reconstructing a story, making a new one, you need to brainstorm, you need to use some special books like thesauruses or like Descriptosauruses, but provide the particular pages that students need to use. Don't give them the whole huge book of Descriptosaurus and set them on a free journey. No, don't do it. Just give them some ideas or show them how to do it. Or you also can just simply brainstorm and that's all, and put some wonderful words. Don't forget that you put there adjectives, nouns, adverbs, all kinds of expressions. You can use idioms, whatever you think of. You put it in a list under each point that you're going to describe or that you're going to deconstruct or reconstruct. What else do? You also need to put some questions. This particular point usually answers some question. What is happening to my main character? Why did Cinderella go away? Why did, why did she cry? All right. Why did the hunter come in the story of the Little Red Riding Hood? So you are giving your children a mechanism to create a proper plot, a proper story with a proper plot from beginning to end using this particular diagram. Okay? Okay. Usually when you write something, you do not write it in one lesson. You first read something modal, like a modal story, you deconstruct it, you decompose it, and then next lesson you try to compose your own one. If you need the second lesson on deconstructing, decomposing the first story, you just do it. Maybe the second lesson you may analyze the vocab and the techniques that author uses in the story. Then you start creating your own story based on the story of the author. Just the same thing. For example, if we talk about Little Red Riding Hood, you can create something like that, but you can change the setting, you can change the characters, you can change the time. But in general, it will be just the same plot. Somebody went somewhere, and in the middle of the journey, there's some obstacle, and then something super bad happens, and what happened next after that bad happens? Okay. Well, I think I told you everything about plot points map. If you have any questions, you can ask. You can ask them in Russian or in English. It was just easier for me to tell about this thing in English. Have a nice day.